Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at your marketing dashboard and thought, I have no idea which channel actually worth in this customer? Here's the brutal truth. Most SaaS founders I tell to are literally throwing money at Facebook ads, Google ads, LinkedIn campaigns, and they are making decisions based on complete guesswork. I recently spoke with a founder who spent 47,000 last quarter. When I asked him which channel was actually profitable, he just shared at me he don't know. And here's what scares me. He's not alone. A 2025 study by Chartmogul found that 68% of sales companies admit they don't have reliable attribution data. That's 7 out of 10 companies making million-dollar decisions in the dark. I am Vishwajit Roy, and today I am going to show you the attribution tracks that separate struggling sales companies from the ones scaling profitability in 2026. Not fluff, not theory, just step that actually works. Now, full transparency. I am not same guru who's been doing this for 20 years. I am 22 and running Maxi Marketing from Dinajpur, Bangladesh. And I have been in this game since December 2021. But here's why you should listen. I have worked with enough sales businesses and see the same expense mistake over and over. And I have been made plenty of myself, like when I launched a project World Unit CPA that completely flopped because I built what thought people needed, not what they actually needed. That failure taught me something critical. Data does not lie. My options don't matter. The only thing that matters is what the data tells you about customer behavior. And attribution? That's how you get the data. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to track which marketing efforts actually making you money and how to set up attribution without needing a data science degree. And the 3 biggest attribution mistakes that are probably being your budget right now. So let's start why this matters so much in 2026. Here's what's happening. The customer journey for B2B sales has gotten insanely complex. 10 years ago, something might you add, click it and buy. Simple. Now, someone says your LinkedIn ad on Monday, they don't click. 3 days later, they Google your category, find a comparison article and read about you. A week passes, they see a YouTube video reviewing your product, they visit your site directly. 2 weeks later, they finally sign up through a Google search. Which channel gets credit? Most analytics tools will say Google Organic because that was the last thing before they converted. But the LinkedIn ad started with a wild journey. That comparison article built trust and the YouTube review pushed them closer. If you only look at last click attribution, which is the most people do by default, you will think LinkedIn is worthless and Google is a gold mine. So you will cut LinkedIn spend and pour everything into Google and your revenue will drop because you just killed the channel that was actually starting all your best customer journeys. I learned this the hard way back when I was figuring out SEO in 2022 and 2023. I spent months creating content that I thought was failing because it is not converting directly. Then I dig deeper and realized that convert was the first touch point for 60% of my best clients. It's what doing the heavy lifting. I just was not seeing it. This is the attribution crisis. You cannot optimize what the full journey. You are optimizing for the wrong thing. Quick question, and I want you to actually think about this. Do you know what percentage of your customers trust your brand more than once before buying? For most sales companies in 2026, it's around 6 to 8 touch points. 6 to 8 times someone interacts with your brand before they pull out their credit card. That's not a guess, that's from Salesforce State of Marketing report. So if you are only tracking the last click, you are seeing maybe 15% of the story. You are making decisions with 15% of the information. Let's fix that. Alright, here's where we get typical. There are literally dozens of attribution models out there, but I am going to say you the hand cash and give you the only 3 that matters for SaaS business in 2026. Model 1. First touch attribution. This gives 100% credit of the first thing that brought something into a world. When is this useful? When you want to know which channels are best, you are creating awareness. If you are trying to figure out where your top of the funnel is straight, first touch shows you that the mistake people make. Thinking this is a wild story, it's not. It just tells you where people are discovering you. Model number 2. Last touch attribution. This is what most tools shows by default. It gives you all credit to the final interaction before purchase. This is useful for understanding what closing deals if you are trying to figure out what presses people over the finish line. Last task shows you that the mistake thinking the last task is the most important task. Something last task gets credit just because it was last, not because it was impactful. Model number 3. Multitask attribution, especially time density. This is where it gets interesting. Multitask attribution spreads credit across all the task points in the journey. There are different variations, but I have recommended time density for most sales businesses. This model gives you more credit to interaction that happen closer to the conversation, but still acknowledge earlier task point. Why this on? Because it's realistic. It recognizes that someone engaging with your brand 3 months ago master less than someone engaging yesterday. But it does not ignore that earlier task point completely. Here's the real example. One of the businesses I consulted with switched from last task point to the time attribution in early 2025. They discovered that their convert marketing, which looked useless under last task, was actually enforcing 43% of their enterprise deals. They almost cut that budget. Now they are doubling down on it. Now I know what some of you are thinking. This sounds complicated. I don't have a massive marketing team or a huge analytics budget. Good news, you don't need either. Remember, I started this while digital marketing in December 2021 at my auntie's house with literally zero experience. Before that, I was mechanic apprentice, figure out broken motorbikes. If you could learn to diagnose with an engine was misflying with basic tools. If you can learn to diagnose your marketing with the tools you already have. Let me show you how. Here's step by step for setting up proper attribution without losing your mind. Step 1. UTM parameters, the non-negotiable foundation. Every single external link you share needs UTM parameters. Every single on those little tags you add to URLs like UTM underscore source equal LinkedIn and UTM underscore medium equal paid and UTM underscore cam plugin equal P1 dash awareness. This is how you tell your analytics where traffic actually comes from. Without this, you are flying blind. Pro tips. Create a simple spreadsheet to track your UTM structure. Keep it consistent. If you use LinkedIn, sometimes LinkedIn, other times your data gets split, your reports become useless. Step 2. Set up goals or conversion properly in Google Analytics 4, which is what everyone is using in 2026. If you need a define your key conversions for sales that usually trial sign up, demo request and actual purchase. But here's the trick most people miss. Also track micro conversions, things like visited pricing page or watched demo video or downloaded resource. Why? Because those show you the path people take. If someone visits your pricing page 3 times before converting, that's signal. That's it telling you something about your customer psychology. Step 3. Use Google Analytics 4's built-in attribution reports. GA4 actually has decent attribution modeling built is now. Go to advertising attribution model comparison. You can compare last click, first click and data-driven attribution side by side. This is completely free and takes about 10 minutes to set up. The data-driven model uses machine learning to figure out which task point actually matter. It's not perfect, but it's way better than guessing. Step 4. Complement couched domain tracking. If your marketing site, your app are on different domains, you need a cross-domain tracking. Otherwise, when someone clicks from yoursite.com, app.yoursite.com, it looks a new session. That makes your attribution completely wrong because you are not seeing the full journey. The setup is a bit technical, but there are tons of guides out there. It's worth 30 minutes of paying. Step 5. Create a simple attribution dashboard. Don't overcomplicate this. Create one dashboard. I use Google Data Studio, which is completely free. That shows first task attribution by channel, last task attribution by channel, multi-task attribution by channel, average task points before conversion, top conversion paths, update it weekly. Look for patterns. That's it. Now, let me share the 3 mistakes I see consistently, including ones I have been made myself. Mistake 1. Testing platform reporting Facebook says it's dropped 100 conversions. Google says it's dropped 85. Your actual conversion? 120. Here's the reality. Platforms like Facebook and Google have an incentive to over-report their impact. They use both attribution windows and claim credit for conversion they barely influence. Don't trust the platform dashboards. Trust your own analytics, set up your own tracking, verify everything. Mistake number 2. Ignoring the dark social factor. You know how do people share links in Slack, WhatsApp and private messages? That traffic shows up at direct in your analytics. In 2026, this is huge. A study by Sparktrove found that nearly 40% of B2B sharing happens in private channels. So when you see direct traffic converting well, it's probably not people typing your URL. It's people clicking shared links in private messages. That's actually your content in brand doing work. If you're just not seeing where you studied, factor this in. Don't ignore direct traffic as a random. Mistake 3. Making decisions too fast. Attribution data needs time to mature. You need at least 100 conversions per channel before the patterns become strategically meaningful. I see founders make changes after 100 conversions. That's not data, that's a noise. Be painted. Let the data assume it. Make decisions based on trends, not individual data points. That is something I learned from my mechanic days. Actually, I don't diagnose an engine problem from on where it sounds. You watch it over time, you get an evidence, then you fix it. Marketing is the same. Look, here's the bottom line. In 2026, the SaaS businesses that win are not that ones with the biggest budget. They are ones that know what's actually working. Attribution is not sexy. It's not getting to give you overnight success. And anyone who promises that is lying to you. But will give you the clarity. It's show you where to double down and where to cut back. And over the time, that clarity compounds into real competitive advantage. If you get value from this, do me a favor, hit the like button. And so YouTube knows, shows you this is to other founders who need it. And subscribe to channel because I post videos like every week about building real sustainable online businesses. No hype, no BS, just step that actually works. Drop a comment and tell me what's your biggest attribution challenge right now. I read every comment and I will respond with specific advice. Also, if you want to go deeper on this, I will put together a free attribution tracking template that you can grab. Link in the descriptions. It's literally the same spreadsheet I use the clients to keep their E2M parameters organized and their attribution data clean. Thanks for watching. I am Rishit Roy and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.